So this video is a continuation of the last one, I suppose. This is how I got onto the subject of the Goldwater rule again. Poseidon Kicklidon asked, new question. In your professional opinion, after watching Kathy Griffin's last videos, is she mentally stable? And so I replied, no video for you, like the soup Nazi, like no soup for you. And then I gave him the link to the Goldwater Rule Wikipedia article. And these have gotten a lot of up thumbs on them. And then he replied, LMAO, then at least do an unprofessional response vid to her rants. I'll laugh so hard I'll piss my pants. Merry Christmas. So, just so you know, you're not enticing me at all to make a video by saying that you're going to piss your pants. As you can imagine, in my line of work, going in and out of some emergency facilities, seeing people when they are at their most intoxicated, I often find people that have pissed themselves. And some of them, maybe for days, had been pissing themselves. And it's a horrible stench. Also, I have a problem going to movie theaters because the smell of buttered popcorn reminds me of the smell of homeless people's unwashed socks. So, yeah. That's probably what is going to have you laughing the hardest at this video. Just the thought that I regularly have to encounter that. Let's see. So, Kathy Griffin, without saying anything as far as like a professional diagnosis over the camera, which I have stated in many videos is not proper for people to do, I will say that she does seem, in videos that I've seen from her, to have the ability to operate within her normal lifestyle. I don't know if she's, medicated in order to help her in that respect. I don't know what kind of help that she's getting through this time that she has in her career, where she basically screwed the pooch by becoming basically the flavor of the day for the news cycle one day when she took a picture holding a bloody mask of Donald Trump as if she had decapitated him. So there are a couple of interviews with Kathy Griffin that I watched just after watching a couple of the videos that Poseidon Kicklidon sent me to. I watched one with Seth Meyers on his late night show, where she said, you have to be controversial. You have to be able to make jokes that are edgy. She was responding to, basically the social justice movement on college campuses and saying that you have to be able to go into the comedy club and push the envelope. And so that being her mindset, and also keeping in mind that she's been part of a couple of documentaries about the craft of comedy, where the theme has been everything is take, right? That's the phrase that they say in the biz, behind the scenes. Everything is take. Basically, anything in your life, even the most personal things, can be used for material for your comedy if you follow the mantra of everything is take. Whatever you want to talk about, it's okay to talk about. So, being that her entire career has been trying to push that envelope, and say some really frank things and shock people in her comedy, I, I, I find it hard at this juncture in her career to say that what she's doing now is an aside from everything else she's done before. I've personally gone to a Kathy Griffin comedy show. It was at Summerfest in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was in the aughts, probably 2006 or 7. I remember it was Kathy Griffin's comedy after Hedda Lettuce. That was the opener, and then Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. That was the headliner that day. So weird comedy rock and roll mix. Lots of lesbians in the crowd. Kathy Griffin has been a gay ally for a very long time, and also Joan Jett has been a gay icon. Joan Jett had like the symbol for female on a restroom. She had two of them right next to each other on her guitar. So, yeah, there was a theme that day. In fact, the vendors that showed up that day, there were a lot of pet care supply vendors and rainbow leashes, rainbow dog bowls. I was like, wait a second. Oh, it's because they don't have kids most of the time. Their pets are their kids. Lesbians and gay couples, they're pet lovers. I get it. That was an epiphany that I had that day. Anyways, Kathy Griffin has been trying to get this spotlight on her for a very, very long time, and once having it, of course, she's going to try to spin it within the everything is take model as part of her act, right? So, how does she market herself? She goes to countries. She's on like a world tour of like 10 or 11 different cities, and she's going to places where there is a lot of anti-Trump sentiment, and she is marketing herself as the person who is being targeted by the Trump administration. She says this in a couple of interviews that I have watched that she's done on foreign media. She says that she's blacklisted in America because of what she did, and that she can't get a job. And this actually is the kind of thing that gets people to come out and show up to shows a lot, is the idea that somebody might have a little bit of rarity to them. You better come out now to see them because they don't do a lot of shows these days because of the climate that they're in. All of this is marketing. And she has marketed herself her entire career as being controversial with her comedy. And yeah, I thought maybe she was having a hard time dealing with the stress of all that happened because of her hairstyle. I felt like she looked kind of like a cross between Jenny McDermott and Howdy Doody when I saw what's happened to Kathy Griffin in the past couple months. But then in one of the interviews that I saw, she shaved her head because her sister had cancer, and she was doing that in solidarity, and that's understandable. I mean, I've done it myself. People get solidarity haircuts as a normal course of the things that you do when you care about someone. So, yeah, that's not criteria for saying, yeah, maybe she's got some problems. Like, we've seen other people that have shaved their heads when they're going through a lot of stress in their lives, and they're in a bad place, such as, say, Britney Spears. I'm remembering the scene from Empire Records right now with the head shaving in the bathroom. Um, yeah, it's kind of associated with people that are in a very bad place in their life. But in this case, there's a reason behind it, and all I had to do was watch a couple of the interview videos with her in foreign media to see that that's what happened to her recently. Her sister passed away. Um, she also likes to tout the fact that she's had death threats for what she did, and that they've called her mother and her sister when she was dying of cancer to leave death threats for Kathy there. And she really does pull off the narrative that she is being hunted by the state in America, that she's blacklisted. She's like, there's a real blacklist. And these are things people say when they're trying to market themselves. You know, that they have rocked the boat enough that people are paying attention to them, and these are the reasons why you should support them. And I don't want to go off onto too much of a tangent about other people here on YouTube that try to turn being on a blacklist into the reason why you should give them more money. But in this case, I feel like this really does just fit the way that she's marketed herself before this incident with the Trump mask, and she's just successfully integrating that into her persona now. For her to be selling out theaters in all of these foreign capitals, I feel like she's doing pretty well for herself, but she still has to paint herself as being the underdog in order to market herself. So, yeah, really, all the things that she's saying, I don't really see them as being paranoid as much as being convenient for her marketing. And as far as the way that she's willing to speak out about hashtag Me Too, and especially Harvey Weinstein and whatnot, and she's willing to talk about other celebrities, and how, of course, they knew about these open secrets. Yeah, I just feel like that's still, it's what she's known for. She's like a gossip queen comedian. You know, she's like a Joan Rivers of our time. That's who Kathy Griffin is. So really, I don't think that that's her going crazy either. In her State of the Union address video 2 weeks ago, she did say herself that she feels like she's going crazy because the feminist social justice movement that she has supported for a very long time, she feels like because she's 57 and she feels like she's getting old, that she wants to see more change quicker, and it's not a marathon, it's a sprint for her now, because she really wants to see this change happen. But even though she's saying, yeah, I just want to admit that I'm going crazy, she really does seem like she has it together enough to do the same shtick that she's been doing for decades. And the last video I watched of hers was her doing a workout routine. It was dancing to some music, and it was out of context because you can't hear the music that she's dancing to, and it looks kind of funny. And she's in her underwear, and you can see her form. She says she just got off the treadmill, and I'm like, exercise, dance, listening to music, clearing her head, getting focused. That looks like a lot of good self-care to me. And when somebody's that good at keeping up their self-care, they haven't fallen apart. So that's what I see. But depending on your political position, you might have a different opinion. Such as Propter Hawk, who says in his comment, "Given that I am not accountable to any institution, I can give my armchair analysis without constraint. In my completely unqualified opinion, I would state for the record, off the record, that she is batshit crazy. Ain't no golden shower rule gonna stop me from weighing in. Bazinga!" Yeah, if you're a shitlord or an anti-social justice warrior, or whatever it is that you want to call that position, you might look at anything that she's saying, disagree with it, and feel like it's unbased. But yeah, it's been working for her for decades. If you take her entire career as a whole, this is just one little blip of popularity that she's gotten, and one little blip of infamy. The more infamous that she is with the conservative camp, the more the liberal camp are going to buy her tickets. And so I'm sure she's, even though she can't get a television show, like she keeps on saying on her videos, that she wants to be back on TV. I just feel like she's marketing herself well for her in-person live shows, and even her saying that in her YouTube videos is basically a calling card saying that she's available, and she will probably get a TV show from someone, some network that really needs some controversy to be able to sell some TV plan. I can see that happening. What she did wasn't so heinous. Holding up, a decapitated mask, making a statement like that. Yeah, it's not like she is part of the hashtag #MeToo list of people who made unwanted sexual advances on people. So there's hope for her career, even now.